We're here at CyberScoop's Zero Trust Summit with Andre Mendes, CIO at the Department of Commerce. Andre, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you.
So let's start with asking how you would describe how the Department of Commerce is making progress in deploying things like enterprise-wide platforms for identity and access management and multi-factor authentication as part of zero trust practices.
So as part of my original due diligence in terms of the situation at the Department of Commerce, I quickly came to the realization that there were a number of systems that have been implemented for ICAM, and that there were also certain bureaus, small bureaus, that really didn't have a solution at all. And so we put a sort of a stake in the ground that we were going to be using one of our bureau's solutions because of their scale and ability to handle the business for some other smaller bureaus. As our preferred solution for going forward. Of course, it's a federated system because some of the solutions in place are already quite robust. But nevertheless, by leveraging NOAA's ICAM efforts, we were able to make very substantial progress in a very short period of time. And we are moving very aggressively into now implementing single sign-on for a lot of applications based on that infrastructure, which is being very well received by the employees, as you can imagine.
Well, next, what challenges are you still facing trying to maintain a complete inventory of authorized devices, again, as sort of spelled out by the Zero Trust executive order and so forth, and also ensure that the endpoint detection and response tools are properly deployed?
We have been pretty good in that regard. Our system needed a few tweaks, but it has been very robust. We effectively have two different situations, one run by NIST, that runs the majority of the bureaus, and then one run by NOAA, because they have some very specific requirements in terms of the geographic dispersion of their installed base, and also some of the nature of their endpoints, such as sensors in buoys in the middle of the ocean, stuff in satellites, that don't lend themselves as easily to that type of exercise. We're in the process of also upgrading some of those legacy technologies so that the sensors that we deploy are capable of better interaction with detection systems.
And then how well equipped would you say the department is overall, or most of the agencies in particular there at Commerce, are, compared to just a couple of years ago, to identify and isolate their IT environments in cases where they may have been compromised?
I think we have been very successful in introducing segmentation of networks, both physical and virtual, across the entire department. Some of the bureaus were already well advanced in that. Specifically, the census, for example, had a very robust infrastructure that was very well segmented by virtue of all of the different areas within the bureau that they have to handle, and of course the nature of the decennial that is dominating in terms of what the Census Bureau does. And so I think that we are in good shape. With some of the smaller bureaus, the size of their network allowed for an easier deployment of that type of solutions, and also their migrations to the cloud that have accelerated over the last 2 years made that easier as well. And so I think that we're in pretty decent shape. We are continuing to make progress, but I'm satisfied that we are moving in the right direction.
And then lastly, Andre, looking ahead, how are OMB's zero trust policies altering your overall long-term IT investment strategy? What do you think you'll be doing differently in the next couple of years?
We were already moving towards a zero trust architecture, but that particular memorandum really put some oomph behind our efforts. Not only in really getting everybody to understand that this was the stated direction and that we had made a decision about that, but also because of some of the potential funding that came with that was so necessary. A lot of efforts that had not been yet taken were not taken because of lack of funding. And so as that came to the table, it allows us to start accelerating that process. But again, getting everybody together and agreeing on a commonality of architectures and solutions, I think has been extremely helpful, because now we have a North Star through which all of the bureaus can orient themselves in terms of getting to a successful implementation of Zero Trust architecture, which of course is an evolving, never finished environment, but that nevertheless will provide us with, I think, a much better opportunity for maintaining our integrity across the department.
Well, Andre Mendes, thank you so much for taking time to join us here at the Zero Trust Summit.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.